Today there is dangerous news from the United Kingdom. Here, after the Russian submarines were chased away from British critical infrastructure, the Russians refused to back down. Now Russian warships entered the English Channel as the whole of Britain held its breath and watched what happened next. Shortly prior to that, Swedish authorities have detained the sanctioned tanker Flora One following the discovery of an approximately 12-kilometer oil spill east of Gotland. The vessel was part of Russia's shadow fleet, which had departed from a port in the Gulf of Finland and was escorted to port by aircraft and patrol boats. After being stopped and inspected south of Ystad, the tanker is now being held on suspicion of an environmental offense, with prosecutors launching a preliminary investigation in coordination with police. In a separate incident, Sweden also detained the cargo vessel Hui Yuan in the Baltic Sea near Ystad after surveillance aircraft observed it discharging coal waste. The ship was en route from Russia's Luga to Las Palmas and was sailing under a Panamanian flag. Meanwhile, the United States has lifted sanctions on 3 Russian-linked vessels. These include the SV Nikolay, previously involved in transporting grain from Russian-held territories, as well as the container ships Fesco Moneron and Fesco Magadan, both of which have now been removed from the sanctions list. In order to shift toward more assertive enforcement measures, British naval and law enforcement units also indicated willingness to intercept sanctioned Russian shadow fleet tankers and warships if they enter UK waters. Notably, the Royal Navy tracked down 3 Russian submarines near critical undersea infrastructure and forced them to leave the northern British waters recently to show Russia that any sabotage attempt will be met with a firm response. To respond to the seizures, legal pressure, and assertive sanction enforcement, Russia has increasingly turned to deploying its navy to safeguard maritime activities. The Russian frigate Admiral Grigorovich has been observed escorting sanctioned oil tankers associated with Russia's shadow fleet through the English Channel, including along the southern coast of England. Due to Russia's actions, the UK made no attempt to hold the convoy, drawing criticism and raising questions about the credibility of its enforcement, as engaging would have required direct confrontation with Russian naval assets. This development signals a direct challenge to the United Kingdom's intention to take a harsher stance on sanctioned vessels transiting its waters, as the UK's backing down signals to Russia that its fleet can now move freely in British waters if they are accompanied by warships, which they will now be encouraged to do more often. Seeing that the plan of escorting tankers works, Russia appears to be probing Western red lines, and the effect is already visible among the countries most exposed to potential pressure. In Estonia, officials have expressed concern that detaining tankers linked to Russia's shadow fleet could be too risky given the increased Russian military presence in the Gulf of Finland. Authorities warn that such actions carry a real risk of escalation, even though intervention would still be considered in cases involving damage to critical infrastructure or significant oil spills. This situation underscores the broader challenge facing the alliance, because without a more robust and coordinated posture on NATO's eastern flank, Moscow will interpret restraint as weakness and a signal that escalation works. Overall, these incidents reveal a pattern of pressure testing across Europe's maritime corridors, where limited responses risk encouraging further escalation. The UK's inaction shows that harsh statements without enforcement mean nothing and won't persuade Russia to back down. Conversely, it emboldens them to act. If deterrence remains weak and Moscow learns that naval escalation forces hesitation, the risks for the Baltic region rise tremendously. If you would like to explore other key developments today that we couldn't cover in this video, make sure to visit our interactive news map. The link to our interactive map is in the description below. Thank you for watching this update, and a special thanks to everyone already following our interactive map.